Virtual assistants for Amazon FBA business. This is the topic for this video, and my guest is Lisett from Estonia, who is working as a store manager for multiple Amazon businesses and Amazon sellers. In this video, you will learn 3 steps which Lisett will share with you on how to onboard and hire the first virtual assistant. She breaks down to a very nice structure how you can do it efficiently. Before that, listen to our conversation where she shares her experience as transforming from virtual assistant to a store manager, who is responsible for creating systems for the Amazon business and hiring other VAs. I hope you will enjoy this video, and don't forget to subscribe below to the Orange Klik's YouTube channel and click the notification bell as well, because here we talk to different Amazon experts, Amazon services, Amazon softwares, and event organizers for Amazon sellers. Hello, Lisett. Nice to have you here. So please introduce yourself and tell us how do you help Amazon sellers.
Hi, Augustas. I'm Lisett, and I have been working with Amazon sellers since 2016. I started out as a virtual assistant, and then over the years, I have become a store manager and a strategic partner. So I actually found this Amazon business model and this work quite randomly. I saw a Facebook post when I was between jobs, and I was looking for different options what to do, because I had just graduated university. I did some traveling. I lived in Germany for a year, did really intense sales program in US for 3 months in the summer period. So I was really looking something that would still allow me to travel quite a lot and be flexible in my work time. So when I saw that Facebook ad, that one seller was looking for help to run his Amazon business, and that he would coach the one he would hire, then I thought, what a great idea. Because I knew that this business model exists, but I didn't know too much about it. I just know that people are trying to sell products they source from China and they want to make a lot of money, but I didn't know anything else about it. So I applied, got chosen, and then fast forward, we're here today. And today I also wanted to talk about like a couple of thoughts I have from my VA experience, and then later I would like to share a couple of steps from like store manager point of view that would help sellers to hire VAs, but also like build system for their business. And the first thing is that you already have covered with other guests in your YouTube channel, is that having systems is really good for your Amazon business. And I think that when I joined that Amazon seller, I didn't know anything about Amazon. I didn't know how to do anything in Seller Central, so I was like really a blank canvas. And what really helped me to get started was that seller had a task management system. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. And basically from day one, I knew that the list of tasks I have to do, and I also knew when I have to do them. So it was really easy for me to understand what my responsibility is. And the second thing the seller had was that they had written instructions for each task, and they also already had screen recordings. So that really helped me to understand really quickly how to perform the tasks, and helped me to grow the number of tasks I was doing, because I didn't have to Skype with them for asking each question or to learn how to do a new task. I just simply received the link with the video. I watched it, I did it. If I had some questions, I just asked the questions. So basically, thanks to the system and the instructions they had, already, like I remember during my second month working with them, I already had a lot of tasks and I was already able to help them a lot. So yeah, systems are the key.
Yeah, this is what I do. I also, with my team, I record a lot of videos all the time to explain things or to give feedback. It's faster and it's very visual. But so when you started to work with your first Amazon seller, the first, how to say, employer, how do you think he could evaluate that you're doing a good job? Because you don't meet each other and it's not in the same office. So how to build this trust? How did he evaluate your work?
Okay, yeah, that's a really good question, because oftentimes when people are working remotely, you really don't know how efficient that person is, or how they track their work time, or how they perform overall. I remember that we talked about setting in weekly goals and monthly goals, because he heard it from a webinar or something like this, but he didn't have a system yet. So I think we just had a list of tasks with deadlines, and I think I just did all the tasks very well. I met the deadlines, and we didn't have any problem, and that probably built the trust as well in me. But now, as I have been store manager and I have been the one who is hiring VAs, I know that it's really important. The VA's background and previous experience is very important, because if I think about myself, before being an Amazon virtual assistant, I already had worked remotely. I already had my own system for managing my tasks, and I already had a schedule. So for me, it was just that I changed the work I do, but the basics were already set in for me. So it's really important to consider like the background of somebody you want to add to your team.
Can you talk a little bit about what not to do when you have virtual assistants in your team? So like when hiring, any tips what to pay attention to, what things not to do, and also how to keep motivated, and or what not to do in order not to demotivate the virtual assistant?
When hiring a VA, I think first thing you should do is having a video meeting if you can't meet in person, because it really helps you to understand the person better. Because I think sometimes when we only text and write emails, for example, we really don't get to know the person, and we don't know how he thinks or what he thinks. So it's really important to have like really open video call or meet in person, just to ask general questions like, how are you doing? What excites you? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be? Etc. It really helps to understand. And you also should pay attention to small things. For example, how fast do they reply to your emails? How do they reply to the emails? And you can read a lot of things out of those things. But you ask about the team, what team motivates VAs. For me, what motivates is like a simple thank you. So if I do a good job and I know I helped the seller, if they just say a thank you from the heart, I know that I did a good job, and that's good for me. So I think, there have been times where I have felt unmotivated, probably when I have a lot of work, or I have worked like extra hours during weekend or in the night to do something for the seller, and then I don't receive a thank you back. So it makes me sometimes feel a little, not sad, but demotivated. And I think like communication is also key, because sometimes if we, it's like in our everyday life, if you communicate poorly, then it also takes away the motivation. And it could happen a lot in Amazon, because we're often in a rush and we don't have time to explain all the details. So that means that sometimes, let's say, we want to outsource a video project and you don't write down all the details in the first place. The freelancer does the video, you receive the video, and you're not satisfied at all. So before like saying bad comments to the freelancer, you should first think that, did you provide the instructions clear enough to them? And what else? I think one thing I would like to especially mention, if you're hiring like a VA who doesn't have previous experience on Amazon, just like I did, is that you should inspire the VA to learn more about the tasks and also about the platform. Because I remember when I started, I was allowed to watch extra videos, listen to podcasts. They shared even like a course with me I could watch, and they paid for me. But it all got me really excited about the topic, and I was able to gain knowledge on how to perform the task, and it was beneficial for the seller as well. And it was later I remember when I was already a store manager that I started listening podcasts in my free time. I think 2016 it was when Many Codes had the AM PM podcast. So I remember like going out for walks in the evening in the winter time, and then I just listened to him because he was always really excited about different topics, and that got me excited. And then so with everything like work around.
Yeah, you talked about hiring VAs. So according to you, probably it's not necessary the Amazon platform knowledge when you're hiring, but can you share any other skills to look at virtual assistant specifically for Amazon business? Mm-hmm. Any skills which are important for this kind of tasks?
First thing, like good communication skills for sure, because most of the time you're, like I said, you're talking through chats or emails. So expressing yourself clearly and already like covering like answers before, or suggesting like solutions before you wait for an answer. So that's really a good skill to have. Then definitely I always recommend to hire somebody who wants to learn a lot and is open also to do other tasks. So for example, if you hire somebody to do customer service, they do good, then they could be open to do also like other tasks if they like, and they want to learn more. What else? Well, meeting the deadlines for sure, because in Amazon, like everything works like if you don't finish something for today, the other person can continue on that project. So meeting the deadlines is very important.
Well, this skill you cannot know when you see a person when you're hiring.
You actually can, because you can make like a small task and then see if the person is sending the response in like early or the same day, or the same day but really late at night. so you can like see a couple of things, but as I said, I really recommend making like a video call just to speak, to understand better, and really ask about like previous work experience and what they liked and what they didn't like about that could tell something as well.
Okay, perfect. So let's move on to your 3 steps which you want to suggest for Amazon businesses in order to hire virtual assistants, right? I know you prepared some presentation, right?
Yeah, right. I put together like 3 steps that could help sellers to hire a VA, but also the same system applies to if a seller wants to build like standard operating procedures or have any kind of system in their store. And for myself, why I'm really passionate about it is that since I started out as a VA, I actually have done quite all of the works and tasks you can do in Seller Central and with the store in-house, meaning that I was the one who was doing everything. So from writing copy to taking pictures, designing, even like ebooks when they were really popular to add. So I hope this system will be helpful. And just a second, I will share my screen. So this hopefully is a simple system to follow, but we will go everything through. So later, if you rewatch the video, you can easily do by yourself as well. So the first thing we will do is to write down all the main tasks that a seller or a VA could do related to running an Amazon store. So I have a list here from like product research to sourcing to listing management, etc. So you can name these things differently. That's totally okay. This is just like an example. So once we write everything down, to run through all the steps, I just take one from here, and I will take customer support, because this is usually something that is outsourced first, and it's actually quite easy to hire a VA for as well. So the second task will be writing down all the subtasks under that main task. So as we took customer support for an example, then we are writing down each task that are necessary to do to cover this part. So from answering buyer and seller messages to managing negative reviews. So we write everything down. And how do you do it is that you just brainstorm. If you're a seller and you don't have any VAs right now, you just brainstorm what are the things you currently do that should go under that main task. And if you are really like a new seller and even don't know what customer support subtasks you might have, then Googling is a good idea, or asking from a friend or from other sellers. And the second thing we will do in this subtask is that we write down the frequency, how often this subtask has to be performed. So is it once a day? Is it twice a day? For some subtasks, it could even be once a week, once in 1 month, or only when a new product is launched. So you mark that down also because it helps you to know better how often and how much time goes under that task. And it also lets the VA know how frequently they have to do this task. So this is step 2. So for step 3, just to illustrate what the step 3 is, I will take 4 subtasks to the next step. So now in step 3, what we do is that we already have named the subtask, we have the frequency. Now we will write down where this task should be performed in. Is it in Seller Central? Then where exactly? Is it in the message dashboard? Is it in the feedback manager? Is it in the Google Drive sheet? So we write down where you can find the right place to do the task. And as you can see, for example, with managing product reviews, if you're a seller who is selling in different marketplaces, then sometimes there are different places to do the tasks. So for example, in US, we have the brand dashboard to manage product reviews, but in other marketplaces, we still have to manually open each product page and then answer to the reviews. And the step, let's say the second part of the step 3 is also to write down where do you keep the instructions for this subtask. So what I really recommend is doing like one Google Drive folder because it's super easy to use at first for having your instructions all in one place. But what you do here is that you write down exactly the link to the certain subtask instruction. And as you can see, there are 2 types of instructions. So there will be written instructions, which are usually full of details. There are different templates, maybe. For example, if we talk about buyer and seller messages, there are different situations about what people send messages. Let's say they didn't receive a product, or they're happy with the product, or they don't like the product. Then for each case, you have written down a specific template how to answer to that email. And with the video, as Augustas told before, videos are really good because they are easy to record and they're really easy to share with different team members. And you can really give like this good overview and explain overall why you do the task that way and what's like your logic behind it. So the text or the written instruction will be more in detail, while the video is like overall instruction. So having written down all these things, this really helps to set in system for you and also for the VA. So to just go over everything, we right now we only took customer support as an example. We divided it to different subtasks and we wrote down the frequency and the performing place and the instruction location only for a few subtasks. So what you as a seller should do now is to take all those main tasks, all those subtasks, and write everything down exactly. I know it seems like a lot of work at first, but actually it's really beneficial later. It's something that you invest your time in first, but later you get the benefits. And I really wanted to point out the two main benefits about this system, especially when you want to hire a VA or you already have a VA, is that if you don't have a VA yet, it makes hiring one easier because you yourself, you know what tasks you need help with. It helps to put together a good job description. You can name what tasks you need help with. And also the VA knows exactly what you need from them. For example, if you need them daily, do you need them a certain time each day? So everything is written down in details really well. And as I explained before from my own experience, that kind of system makes onboarding new team members more efficient because you simply introduce the system to the new team member. They learn everything by themselves, and basically from the day one, they are able to perform the task without consulting the seller. Of course, there will be questions, but basically they are able to do everything by themselves. Yep, so that's about it. And I know it seems a little bit complicated at first, but actually when you write everything down, it's really logical and it's really easy to do.
Yeah, creating systems is time consuming. And by the way, very I suggest to watch here in the top, we will make a link to a video where it actually was a webinar with 3 experts in building the systems, in automating, outsourcing Amazon business, and then in this way increasing the value of your Amazon business and exiting your business for a high price. So find the link here at the top. There is or in the description as well. We will link to that video on our channel. And I'm really satisfied how your journey, you shared your journey with us from virtual assistant to store manager, and you can see how you can see more than usually we talk to Amazon sellers or those who are running agencies of virtual assistants, but we never talk to really assistant who went through all these steps. So thanks a lot, Lisett. And can you tell us how can people contact you? Can people get in touch with you?
Sure. We will hopefully put my homepage link to the description box, and I will also make available a free PDF or a free file that could help sellers to start using the same system I just explained. So with these easy steps, I want to have a file where you can actually print it out and start right away with all the excitement you get from this video.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, check for the links below. And thank you very much, Lisett, and good luck in your business. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I do hope you enjoyed this short video with Lisett, and don't forget to subscribe below to the YouTube channel of Orange Klik and click the notification bell as well, because here we talk to different Amazon experts, Amazon service providers, software creators, and event organizers. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.